Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. Have a little tiny cup of coffee. My hands feel so big. Want to have a cup of coffee with you right now. Want to talk about Saudi Arabia. I want to talk about something out of oilprice.com. And the title of the story is Saudi Arabia could slash supply to the US oil supply. And it is very important to go over this. We've talked about this before, but I want people to really understand the ramifications of what Saudi Arabia is trying to do to us. And that is squeeze us, hurt us, put our economy in the hurt locker. Oil and gas prices are what truly drive our economy. When they are cheap, we spend more money. Why? Because we have more money to spend. Literally, the most basic element of economics. Next to supply and demand, that's where we're at. And the truth is, Saudi Arabia does not have that much oil left. They have been pumping it and pumping it and pumping it like crazy. And we have seen our current administration, hold on, I gotta get a little caffeine for this one, which in my personal opinion is bought and paid for, has been literally saying, why pump ours? Let's just go buy it from them. And then literally watching them walk away from an agreement with us that they had for over 50 years to price oil in dollars. And they just went and signed their allegiance to China. Now, when they slash these prices and these barrels, the barrels of oil, it will cause oil to go up. Now, what's really interesting about this time, outside of any other time in history, in recent history, we are going into a downturn. The world's economies are shrinking. And traders are pricing that into the price of a barrel of oil. Every time we get into a recession and people start to agree that we're coming into a recession, oil treads lower. And the reason why is because they know that less people during a recession are going to have high-paying jobs, lots of hours to work, overtime, which means they are less likely to go and on vacation. Get in the family car, the family van, and go to the state parks. We're seeing over and over numbers coming out of state parks that are less, hotels that are less. Matter of fact, the hotel that I'm in right now, we got a phone call from them, and they called us and said, would you like our, Emperor Suite or whatever it is. It's literally a house. It's across the way from us, and it's a 2,200 or 1,800 square foot apartment, right? They can't sell it, and they're like, we'll slash it half price. Like, no, I'm not going to spend the extra, what was it, an extra $300, which was half price, an additional 300. So essentially, normally it's about $1,000 a night. And I said, there's no way I'm going to do that. Why? I'm going to spend that money going out to dinner or going to have fun with the friends and family. I don't need to stay in an apartment, even if I'm filming a YouTube video for you guys. Point being is, they have to try and slash it because people aren't spending money. We are in peak vacation season for this area of Texas, and people aren't spending the money. Okay, so that's what happens. The oil trends down because people have less money. So as Saudi Arabia, and we're going to read this story here, it's trying to put the squeeze on us. It's not working out too well for them. Okay, it says here Saudi Arabia could be looking to slash crude oil shipments to the U.S. from the next month to affect a tightening of the world's most transparent oil market. As the kingdom prepares to cut unilaterally 1 million barrels per day from its crude oil production in July, its crude shipments to the West could be much more affected than exports to its primary market, which is Asia, which lacks transparent oil inventory reporting like the US does. Go figure. China's smart. They're not giving up everything. They don't want the world knowing how to economically attack them. And right now, people need to understand Saudi Arabia is enacting an economic attack on the United States economy. Okay, I want people to understand. Now, this is a proxy attack through China. And if people don't understand that, just understand why we can't usually even say the word China in the media, right? They are our enemy, all right? And it's getting serious. Now, this is another thing I want you to realize. They started talking about this drop in barrels per day back in the spring, and that is seasonally when oil starts to trend higher. But they are going to do it during the peak use of oil in our country. That is when people are out traveling the most and they are using energy the most in forms of air conditioning and other things like that, okay? So electricity and things. So you have to understand this is a very timely attack. Now, it says here on several occasions in recent years, Saudi Arabia has significantly lowered crude shipments to the United States in attempts to tighten the U.S. market, which reports oil and products data on a weekly basis, unlike China and India, which rarely, if at all, report commercial or strategic oil stockpiles. Early this month, the OPEC Plus producers decided to keep the current cuts until the end of 2024. But OPEC's top producer, Saudi Arabia, said it would voluntarily reduce its production by 1 million barrels per day in July to around 9 million barrels per day. Think about that. They are cutting 10% of the supply per day. Now, I honestly believe this is going to come and kick Saudi Arabia in the butt, quite frankly. And I think that's an exciting thing because as if oil prices don't increase over 10%, Saudi Arabia is going to effectively make less money per day selling its oil. So I actually believe that's going to happen. I don't believe we're going to see a massive squeeze higher in oil prices. Now, this isn't trading advice or financial advice. I'm just a dude with a bro hawk and a dream reading you the news. But let me know down in the comment section below if you agree with me. I believe this is going to end up really hurting Saudi Arabia because, again, cutting production by 10%, if they don't have prices rise over 10%, they are losing money. And I believe that's going to happen because I believe the narrative is going to continue. Even though the mainstream's trying to push that the economy is strong, I do not believe it is. I believe we are already in a recession. And just the fact that the government had to come out and change the definition of recession proves that we're in a recession, right? If they move the goalpost, we all know who won the game because all we had to see was when the ball crossed the area that used to be the goalpost. All right. I think this is going to be very interesting. And it says here the production level in July would be Saudi Arabia's lowest since 2011. Now, I want to remind you, the reason why it was the lowest since 2011 is because in 2011, as a barrel of oil was falling off of a cliff, Saudi Arabia did not want to sell its oil for so cheap. And so they were trying to enact a squeeze back then. This is supply and demand dynamics. Very important, very simple. And that's why it's so important to realize. You don't have to be a banker, an investment banker, a stock analyst to understand literally what affects the economy. All you need to realize is the time lag in which most of the people wake up and either buy a product or when most of the people run for an exit to sell a product. That time lag is the most important thing. The fundamentals in economics do not change at all. Guys, I hope you got something out of this. If you did, let me know. Thank you so much to everybody that supports my channel with a thumbs up. Thank you to all my subscribers. You are the best on the internet. Guys, I hope you have a great day. The Economic Ninja is out.